lot of time talking about what AI can do: faster writing, better analysis, smarter automation. But I think that's the wrong question. The better question is what Paige asked. She says, what are you going to do with the time AI gives back to you? In this conversation, Paige talked about identity, why so many of us tie our worth to our jobs, and why AI presents an opportunity not just to become more productive, but to become more human. You'll hear a story about an executive who saved 7 hours using AI. Paige did not let him just move on to the next new task. She said, whoa, what meaningful human work are you going to do with those 7 hours? Because the goal isn't to fill every empty space with more work, it's to create room for innovation, relationships, creativity, and the projects you've been putting off for years. If you've been overwhelmed by AI or wondering where to even start, this episode offers a refreshingly practical perspective. Slow down, pick one tool, and build your confidence. And focus on using technology to amplify your humanity, not replace it.
This is a very layered phenomenon, and it's shaking so much internally, individually, corporately, on a society level. Yeah, and there are so many people, especially in the Western world, that their identity is tied to their job. I did not see that so much overseas. People's identity was in their community. So I think we need to clarify that as well, that in our culture, it is a very big part of the equation about how people identify. Think about it. When you meet somebody new, what's the first question somebody normally asks? What do you do? Now, we're human beings, not human doings. So in many cases, I feel like there is also an opportunity to kind of recalibrate in our society how we view ourselves, because AI can take some of the tedious tasks off our plate to make us more human. That part of the conversation is what I like to have with my clients and with those that come through our cohorts is, all of those bucket list ideas and all of those things that you always wanted to get to, but you couldn't because of the urgent things happening. AI has the potential of helping you bring those things to front and center. I'll give you an example. We did a proof of concept recently with an executive for what we're calling the Solomon Engine. It's like a beta that we're running with executives for AI training and experience for AI for their level. And so in our proof of concept, Andy was the executive. And after working with him for a while, we had some very enriched threads or language learning models that knew his background, it knew his voice, it knew his knowledge about his organization. I mean, it was completely locked and loaded. He needed to write a script for a 15-minute pitch that he needed to do for his organization. He had it written, had it approved in less than an hour. Normally, that would have taken him a full day. So he bought back 7 hours. And I told him, I'm like, okay. Oh, and he's like all excited, like on to the next thing. And I'm like, whoa. And this is kind of the switch that's really important in this. It's like, okay, you just bought back 7 hours. Now, how are you going to innovate with those 7 hours? You can't just fill it with other tasks. And this is where I kind of get pushback with my clients is you need to do something that is going to move the needle on humanity. You need to do human-centric initiatives with that time that you bought back. He's like, oh, yes, there are like 7 people that I've been meaning to reach out to. I'm like, okay, great. That's what you need to do. Don't just fill it with more stuff. Innovate with that time, whether it's connecting with people or bringing a project to the front and center that you've always wanted to do. That is what is possible when we kind of get to the place where we understand that AI can kind of move some of those tedious tasks along faster. And that's when it can get really fun. There are a lot of people that are playing the wait and see game. If you look at the adoption curve for what's called the diffusion theory, early majority adopters and late majority adopters, that's 68% of an organization. They're the ones that kind of just wait and see from the sidelines to see what's happening, and will own some of them, the late adopters, late majority, they will only adopt once they see that it's proven and that it works. And so 68% of the population is sitting around just kind of waiting and watching. And that's really with anything. Okay, so that's number one. Is it going to have change fatigue? Yes. And how do we address that? Number one, we focus on being tool and model agnostic. And I would encourage anyone that's trying to figure this out and it feels so overwhelming, avoid talk about tools. Do what you can to figure out how to strategically use Gemini or Copilot or ChatGPT. You could even use Claude. I would say giving Claude to somebody that's brand new is like giving a Ferrari to a 4-year-old. I would say just pull back right now and use one of the others. I highly recommend Gemini. I'm not a seller for Google, but here's the reason why. Most of us are familiar with Gmail. We're familiar with Drive or that environment. And so friction wise for the way our brains work, it's an environment we're familiar with. So we're the dopamine, the oxytocin kind of things are more regulated in an environment that we're familiar with. So I recommend like the $20 a month plan for Gemini through Google because it's an environment people are familiar with. And just start learning how to use that one tool. I say paid because if it's an open model, which is free, they're going to train on your material. So if you're trying to do your taxes in an open model, please don't do that. Please use a closed model. And so my advice is that we just kind of slow our roll. Everybody needs to take a really big deep breath, just slow down and just figure out how to use it yourself. That's what the AI literacy and fluency courses that you're seeing popping up are all about. And that's kind of where we're landing as well right now, is wanting to help upskill people on the basics, because 68% of people haven't even started the journey. And that really makes me nervous for them because this thing is going so fast that it makes me nervous for people who were still on the sidelines just waiting to see what's going to happen.
If there's one lesson to take away from today's conversation, it's this: AI fluency isn't built through pressure, it's built through curiosity, structure, and support. The organizations that thrive won't necessarily be the ones with the newest technology. They'll be the ones that give their people permission to learn, experiment, and grow together. And for each of us individually, the message is equally clear. Your expertise is still your greatest asset. AI amplifies it, it doesn't replace it. Thanks for listening. And if you want to continue learning about leadership and navigating change and amplifying potential, subscribe.